Hey guys, Lena here. Hope you are having an awesome day, and I am stoked because if you are watching this video right now, it means that you are ready to get your mind blown in the money mindset department. So what we're gonna be covering over the next few days is showing you the $1 million mindset hacks that you have to make if you wanna break out this feeling of being stuck in your business, of feeling insecure, of dealing with imposter syndrome, and being able to put all of that to the side in order to purely focus on your business and making more money, right? And so what this first video is going to be all about is uncovering our deep-rooted money beliefs and some realizations that you guys have to have in order to start rewriting those beliefs and pushing forward in such a positive way. Now, if you take a few minutes, and maybe you've done this exercise before, but I recommend that you take out a pen and paper and you actively write down, how does money make you feel? When you think of money, what words come up? And I think for a lot of people, you'll see a lot of terms around distrust, about a lack of trust in money. And what many people don't realize is that if you don't trust money, if you don't trust money to constantly flow into your life in any amount that you want, if you don't trust that money is always there for you, then of course you're never going to properly utilize that money in order to grow your business and grow your life. And so what I find over and over and over again, when people are thinking about this trust, you have to look at where this actually comes from, right? Now, most of us were raised in families that weren't necessarily entrepreneurial, that weren't necessarily crazy wealthy, right? And we were raised by parents who actively taught us that the way to manage money, the way to approach money, the way to deal with money is to restrict, okay? It's to restrict, it's to hold back. It's to hold back from spending, it's to hold back from putting your money into things that might seem frivolous or silly. You want to spend the minimum amount possible, and I know that that was always the same thing for me. But the question is, why does that come up? Why do we tell ourselves that if we want more money, we have to limit spending money? We have to keep a separation between us and the money and not engage with it too deeply in order to not make any mistakes and ruin our lives, right, by going any further. And when I was thinking about it, I thought it's very similar to when you might start dating a romantic partner, right? Now, for a lot of people who have a distrust in love, or they have a history of being hurt by partners, or they saw parents who were divorced or had a tumultuous relationship, it might be very, very difficult for you to trust that love enough to get close to that person. And so what do many people do? They restrict, they hold back, okay? So we see this in all areas of our life. When we don't trust something, we restrict, we hold back. We're scared to be too vulnerable with it because that might actually end up hurting us. But when you look at money, the actual exact opposite is going to happen to you guys. So when you restrict spending money, when you're told to save every penny, as Dan Locke says, one of my favorite and highly entertaining entrepreneurs, he said, guess what? When you save a penny, it's still a fucking penny, right? It doesn't actually push you forward. But if you can start to develop this healthy relationship with money, begin to trust money, you're gonna see that you aren't gonna lose more of it, you're not gonna be more vulnerable to it, but you're actually going to attract more of it because you aren't fearful anymore. You aren't fearful of that money. And when you're no longer fearful of money and how it affects, how it makes you feel about yourself, it's going to be so much easier to make bigger and bolder and wiser decisions as a business owner. So what I want you guys to do is, first of all, start getting closer to money. Start nurturing this relationship and stop hiding from it. Stop restricting, because restriction doesn't work. It's also sort of like if you see somebody who's ever dieted. Maybe you guys have ever decided to go on diets, right? When you restrict and you restrict and you restrict, it's just not sustainable. And at the end of the day, even if you lose weight or you feel like you look better mentally and in many ways in your life, you don't actually feel like it gets you ahead. When you restrict, when you're dieting, that means that you're not actually spending so much time out with friends, at restaurants, and doing all these things that you might determine as having a full and fun life, but restricting actually limits you, and it's not going to get you ahead like you think it does. And it's the same thing with money. So what I want to challenge you guys to do is actively write down right now, money makes me feel X, okay? So money makes me feel insecure. Money makes me feel distrusting, right? Money makes me feel scared. So whatever money makes you feel, maybe money makes me feel intimidated, right? So there's all these different things that can come up. But what I want to challenge you guys to really internalize here is, so whatever thoughts you have about money right now, none of that is actually true. Okay, these are all crazy thoughts that, like I just said, we've been conditioned to believe and internalize our entire life, from our families, from media, from whatever else, okay? But if we actually want to achieve bigger and better things in our lives and in our businesses and actually start generating the money that we want, we have to actively rewrite those beliefs. Because again, your beliefs aren't necessarily true. They're not necessarily real, have any kind of basis in reality. These are simply your ways of processing money in order to subconsciously protect yourself, but it's not true. So next to all these sentences that you guys write down, I want you to write down the opposite. So if money makes you, if you feel like you can't trust money, why don't you write down, money is my best friend and money comes to me when I call. Okay, so actively write down all these opposite sentences, and I want you guys to start practicing reading those out loud every single day over the next 5 days. And I want you guys to actively see how your thoughts about money begin to shift. As that relationship becomes stronger, guess what? Your feelings about money are going to become stronger, and those feelings are going to produce such bigger and better productive and cash generating action. So go ahead and do that, you guys, and I will see you in the next video.